Hello podcast world, it's Ben here, the one with the beard, and welcome to the first ever episode of the one with the podcast. Now, I thought I'd make a very quick introductory episode really, just to explain a little bit about why I've put this podcast together and really what you can expect over the up and coming episodes. Now, the first point that I want to make is just to kind of let you all know that this episode has been a long time coming, and I think the fact that I've kind of put pen to paper or voice to microphone, whatever you want to say, for the first time today, I think that's a lesson in itself that hopefully you can sort of take away straight away as a bit of a golden nugget from today's episode. Now, let me explain. So I've been planning on doing this podcast now for probably about a month or so, and I've been putting this off until tomorrow. It's been a job for another day for so long, and that's not because I didn't want to do it. That's just pure and simply because I was thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to do a podcast, I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to film the episodes, I'm going to get some content from my YouTube channel, I'm going to make sure the audio is as crisp as possible. I want to make sure that my office looks great, the setting looks perfect, and we do the best job we possibly can with the content that we're producing. And whilst it's okay to want to, achieve excellence and do everything to the best of your ability, that was very quickly turning into excuses. So what I found is that I was just putting it back and back and back and back. And to be honest, had I took action the first day I decided I was going to do this podcast, then we'd probably be 5-10 episodes in now with guests and probably already have added tons and tons of value to you guys who are listening. So I woke up today and I thought, do you know what? Today's the day. I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm just going to get it done. I've not got my fancy camera. I've not got the greatest microphone in the world. I've not got my office set up exactly as I planned. But you know what? That's not what matters. What really matters is that we get the first one out there. We get a minimum viable product. We see what people think. We introduce the concept of what we want to achieve. And then we set those foundations and we can finesse it and improve it and change it as time goes on. So as I'm recording this right now, I've got my phone set up on a tripod. So I'm recording, to be honest, probably pretty budget looking visual content for our YouTube channel, but it still gets me out there. I'm speaking into my computer directly, so I've not got a fancy £200 expensive microphone like I was planning on getting. My office doesn't look great. I'm sat next to a fucking scented candle and a bowl of potpourri, as those of you who are watching on YouTube will be able to see. So this is by far not what I had imagined when I first set out to do this podcast, but the reality is now I'm speaking, I've got your attention, you're listening, you're consuming this content, so it's doing its job. And that's the first thing that I want to leave you guys with on this episode. Take in as much information as you can, learn as much as possible, consume all the content that you can possibly consume, whether that's from podcasts, whether that's from watching YouTube videos, whether that's through social media, reading blogs, listening to audiobooks, reading physical books, whatever it is, however you best learn, keep on doing it. But always remember that you can have all the information and all the knowledge in the world, but if you fail to implement that into your business, into your life, whatever it is, you're not going to achieve anything. You're not going to drive forward and nothing's going to change, essentially. So I'm a huge fan that implementation is the key. It's great to consume. It's great to upskill yourself. I always encourage it. I'm listening to far more podcast material myself on a personal level than I ever before. And I'm learning so much just by utilising my dead time better when I'm washing the dishes, walking the dog, driving the car, whatever it is. I'm listening to podcasts and I'm learning more information, but I'm really trying to make a conscious effort to implement that information into my business, into my practice, into my personal life, day after day after day, because unless you turn it into a process and you stick to it, then ultimately it's all been a big waste of time. So let's use this episode of the podcast, me just getting my phone set up on a tripod and speaking into my laptop, as a good lesson that whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever your next step is in your business life or your personal life, and we'll all have that next step in mind, we'll be able to see that step, but for whatever reason we've not took a step forward yet, just make today the day. Don't procrastinate, don't think it out for too long. Just be fairly certain that you've got a plan in place that you can stick to, and just pull the trigger and get it done, because ultimately there's always room to improve and change things down the line. Now that that's out of the way and we all recognise how important implementation is, I just wanted to very quickly explain the whole branding side of things really, in terms of why I've called the podcast the one with the podcast, and why I call myself the one with the beard. So again, I work in the property sector, so I'm an estate agent by trade, and I've worked in the property world for about a decade, give or take. And what I found is that when I was following up with prospects, so vendors that I've been to see weeks, months, sometimes years before making the call, or buyers that I was following up on, I'd find that if a period of time had passed, that customer would forget my name. So I'd be trying to jog the memory and be like, oh, I'm the lad with the Mancunian accent, we met at such and such a property, it was on this date, and eventually they'd go, oh yeah, the lad with the beard. And I heard it that many times, the lad with the beard, the one with the beard, the young man with the beard, that I just decided to completely own it as a personal brand. So I started calling people and saying, oh hi, it's Ben from such and such a company, I was just following up, I'm the one with the beard, do you remember? And straight away they'd be like, yeah. So I decided to own that in every sense of the word and just make the one with the beard my personal brand. So now it's plastered all over my company's branding, it's all over my business cards, it's all over my social media. If you've listened to any of my videos in the past, you know that I always introduce myself as the one with the beard, and that just allows me to stay front of mind with my customers, with my peers, my colleagues, whoever it is. And for me, that's working really, really well. So that's why I call myself the one with the beard. That's why the podcast is called the one with the podcast. And as a result, kind of owning that brand has really opened my eyes into the importance and the power of having a personal brand. So that's something that I really do want to explore quite heavily over the up and coming episodes. But I'm going to be speaking to all sorts of different people, not just about branding, but about business in general, about processes, about mindset, about best practice, about sales, management, whatever it is. We're going to cover quite a broad range of topics. And if you're involved in the property sector like I am, especially if you're an estate agent or a salesperson or an entrepreneur or someone who wants to get into the industry, I'm very, very confident you're going to get so much relatable value from the topics that we're going to cover. But even if you're not involved in the property world, if you're involved in a completely different area of business, again, we're going to be covering everything from mindset through to, again, processes and the mechanics of business, motivation, absolutely everything. So I'm sure there's going to be some golden nuggets in there that are transferable towards the wider business world, whatever it is that you're involved with. So today was just a very quick kind of solo episode really, just to get off the mark and say that I've done the first episode, just to get it published on Spotify and iTunes and wherever else you kids are consuming your podcast these days. I just wanted to get something out there, again, a minimum viable product to introduce myself. And like I said earlier on, I'm going to be recording all of these episodes and publishing that to my YouTube channel. So whether you're more visual or more audio, hopefully we've got you covered. Now, what I will say, guys, and I'll probably be a little bit annoying in terms of mentioning this in every episode moving forward, but if you're consuming this now on a platform that allows you to subscribe, like YouTube or Spotify, please do subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I'd really take, great thanks and give great gratitude if you could just take a second to pop over to the iTunes store and leave a quick review and let me know your thoughts. And again, if you've got any topics or anything you want me to delve into or explore as these episodes unfold, then please do drop me a message directly and I'm more than happy to have a chat with you and hopefully be able to add some value and help with whatever it is that you need help with in your business at the moment. But that's all for today. Thank you for listening and I'll see you in episode 2. Done.